Alright, what's up guys? Thomas Alex Norman here, and in this video we're going to be correcting a beginner on their filmmaking.
I'm making sure they know me now, and I pray they never forget me. Ain't made it because they let me made a lane, and I played the game. I couldn't stay the same, I had to change up, get my change up before I lost my brain belly.
Somebody who wants to make films but they've never actually made films before. The problem is I haven't actually got anyone with me, so I don't really know exactly... Wait! Hey, you don't want to learn filmmaking by any chance?
Yeah?
Yeah,
sure.
I'm Thomas, great to meet
Blai.
you. Blai? Okay.
Yeah.
What camera do you have? Do you have any camera with you or anything?
No, I have my phone if you want.
Your phone is absolutely perfect. All right, obviously me and Blai met before. Blai is somebody who is a complete beginner. You haven't actually made films before. He goes on trips, he has like quite an active lifestyle, does lots of different things like skiing, surfing, but he doesn't actually know how to capture those adventures, doesn't know how to capture his life. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you guys what it is like for me to teach somebody in your shoes. And hopefully you can get a few tips along the way of things that maybe you can relate to and how Blai makes his films, and then correcting him and in a way kind of correcting your mistakes, which might be similar to his, to make your films better and take it all to that next level. As we said, Blai is actually only going to be using his phone in this video. I wanted to make it as relatable as possible. We're not going to be having some crazy gear with this. We're literally just going to be using his iPhone, which is an iPhone 10, iPhone X, and I have, as you can see, my notepad here, and I'm going to be making some notes whilst Blai is making his video. We actually also need a model. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Paulo Diaz. He was in the last video and he's going to be Blai's model today. I mean, you don't have a model with you, right? Paulo is actually a professional model, but this is just to replicate. Maybe Blai was with a friend and he wanted to make a quick video on the beach. This is going to be the situation. So let's get into it.
I woke up feeling like this gon' be my day. I got that pumping fire every step I take.
Okay, with that said, I got my pen, my notepad. They're going to go ahead right now. So Blai, take it away. So he's getting a shot now. Landscape, which is a good thing first, so I'm going to give him a little tick for that. He's filming landscape. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, what he's doing is he's circling around, so he might be getting some usable footage here, and this is really important. This whole shot that he's getting right now is maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds. He's just going around the whole of Paulo, but in the edit, he's probably not going to use that whole shot, right? He's probably going to use maybe 2-3 seconds of that shot, and so there might be some good parts of that he can use. I noticed he was kind of rotating around Paulo, so that was pretty cool. He might have got kind of like a parallax effect there, but we will see how stable this footage is in the edit when we actually review the footage. One thing I do notice now is that he's not going from a super low angle. He's kind of going from eye level. And because he's going from eye level, it might make the footage look a little bit boring. I don't know. I don't know what Paulo's doing either. I think Blai gave Paulo to do some direction of some Qigong or some Tai Chi or something. I'm pretty sure Paulo's never done this before in his life, so he's doing a lot of movement. He's doing a lot of camera movement, which is cool. He's not just staying still, he's always walking. Right now you can see he's using one hand, which I'm not a big fan of. One hand on the phone, that's gonna result in some pretty unsteady footage. And it doesn't look like he's putting that much intention into his shots. He's kind of doing the classic beginner thing where they're kind of just walking and smiling and just moving the camera without putting any intentional movement or intentional framing into the shot. All right, so now he's given Paulo a bit more direction, so he's told Paulo to go and walk past him. So at least he's being a bit more intentional now in what he wants. I can kind of see from the back of the phone there that he's just kind of pointing and shooting. He's not putting that much thought into the composition, the movement or anything. He's just framed it. But it looked like he framed it all right and it's fairly steady. So it might be, we might have something to work with here. What was your story so far? If you could make a story, what was it? That Paulo was doing some Tai Chi and then he threw a stone? How could you end your video, for example?
Walk past the rock, and record.
Yep. Okay. So you want to get a shot of going past the rocks?
Going like this,
Yeah.
But before you go, I'm gonna make a scene. Like you come,
Okay,
then didn't realize. I just forgot. I got a casting. Ah!
All right, looks like Paolo decided that shot instead of Bly. All right, go ahead. So we're getting the closing shot right now. Paolo is gonna realize, oh shit, I got a casting.
See you later, mate.
All right, so and now Bly is kind of walking towards the rocks and trying to get some kind of finishing shot of the ocean going over the rocks. All right. I mean, I did kind of give him the prompt to get that finishing shot, but I'm still gonna write it down as a positive because I'm such a great guy. All right, great job. All right, nice job. I think he definitely had some good points. I've written down here that you were filming in landscape, you weren't filming in portrait, which is a good start. You were doing something called the parallax effect, maybe unintentionally, which means that you had Paolo in the center of your shot and you were kind of moving around him in that first shot. But I'm giving you a tick for that, bro. Cross here, you were using one hand at one point.
Yeah.
So I saw you were kind of doing just like one hand. Generally, you don't want to do that because it's going to make your shots pretty shaky.
Okay.
At other points, you did look pretty steady. So other points, like it's kind of hit and miss. And then you did your finishing shot. You did a shot to finish the video, so that was cool. The main thing that I saw that I would want to like correct you on is that you weren't super clear on when your shot was starting or when your shot was finishing. So this is called like being intentional in your shots. And so, for example, what you were doing is you were just getting your phone, you were pressing record, and then you were filming, right? You were just kind of filming around. However, maybe you weren't necessarily keeping the edit in mind. And what that means is like, for example, when I get a shot, I would first think about what's in the shot, frame it up. I press record and maybe just kind of get in position. And then I would, in my head, think, okay, the shot is starting now. And when the shot starts, that would be when I would do my camera movement, or that would be when I would expect Paolo to do a certain thing, right? Instead, you were kind of recording and you were just kind of capturing everything that was happening, and there was different movements in the shot, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So next time, what I would expect you to do is just to be more intentional in your shots. So for example, you would say, Paolo, if you want to do some more Tai Chi, some Thai, whatever you called it. So what you were kind of doing, Bly, was kind of going around like this and kind of just, you weren't really quite sure when your shot was beginning or ending, right? So instead, what I would advise you to do is think about a specific shot that you wanted to get, frame up that shot, and then you would maybe do your specific camera movement whilst Paolo was doing a specific thing. So I would be doing this. So Paolo's doing a specific move and I would do a specific camera movement. Thinking about that part of the shot, all right? Yeah. The second thing is slightly more technical, which is basically using this technique that I taught in a previous video on how to shoot on an iPhone, which is to make sure you press where you want to shoot for each shot. And what that's going to do, it says like locked AEAF, which means you've locked the exposure and you lock the autofocus. And what this means is that it's going to stay on that point in the frame. So for example, if I was getting a shot of Paolo staying there, that means that the camera wouldn't suddenly go dark or lighter, and it wouldn't suddenly go in and out of focus. It would stay on Paolo. And so in general, you want to be doing that for each shot before you set it up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get Bly to do that again. And whilst he's doing it, I'm going to be helping him and correcting him and trying to get a more kind of clear, concise video with a bit more intention in each shot. All right, so the first shot that Bly got was when Paolo was kind of more or less staying in one place, walking around a little bit, and Bly was circling around like this. So he's done the locking thing now. And what I can see is It's looking good. What I would do, Bly, stop that. Stop that, no, I mean like stop the video.
Yeah.
Stop that! And instead, go from lower.
Okay.
And try and leave a little bit more room above his head. A little bit less room. Yeah, that's perfect. Nice, that looks good, that looks really good. Okay, awesome. What just happened? You were more intentional, you were thinking about your framing, and you were kind of covering a specific area. You were kind of thinking, right, I'm gonna go from here, and I'm gonna end up here, and I'm gonna record for those 3 seconds specifically, rather than just thinking, oh, let's see what happens, and we go around and whatever. Okay, so that's the first shot. What was the second one?
Second one, Tai Chi Chuan.
Tai Chi Chuan. What is Tai Chi Chuan? Did you just make that up?
Brazil we call Tai Chi Chuan. I'm not sure if it's Tai Chi Chuan in China. But anyways, it's Chinese martial art, Asian martial art. I don't really know exactly what it is, but I see some people doing this here in Barcelona.
So guys, this is why I think you should subscribe to this channel and like this video, because you're going to be learning not just about filmmaking, you're going to be learning about culture. You're going to be learning about Tai Chi Chuan. You're going to be learning about...
All right, next time I'm going to do capoeira. I think it's more Brazilian.
Capoeira.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
subscribe, comment, share with your friends, your auntie, your mother, your sister, your daughter, your papi. So, next shot.
Like same-
Tai Chi Chuan, yeah.
yeah.
But I'm going to do capoeira because it's more Brazilian.
Keep with the Tai Chi Chuan, because it has to be the same.
All right.
Has to be the same. So the next shot was actually a very similar shot. It was just the same kind of moving around, but with Paolo doing a slightly different movement. He's going to be doing his Tai Chi Chuan right now, so a bit more dynamic. So we might change the shot slightly as Bly does this. So again, he's doing the locking the focus in auto and moving around. So again, he's going a bit lower, which looks good. He's leaving more room above his head than before, which was good, but not too much. Great stuff. So the third shot was more or less Paolo walking towards the end of this pier.
Record it, like, if you throw the stone there,
Yeah.
try to record the other side.
Yep, I think that's a great idea. So now, he's being a bit more intentional with what he's thinking about doing already. He's getting in the filmmaking mindset. And what I would do for this one is, because we want to vary up the shot type slightly, so we don't want to keep the shots all the same in terms of keeping the same distance between you and him, I'd go closer on this one. So maybe film him from here and get him like kind of almost over the shoulder as he's walking. That's perfect. That's going to give you a bit more versatility. All right, go ahead. All right, the shot's looking good. You're getting a bit of sun flare there, which is nice. Keep slightly less room above his head. Yeah, perfect. All right, now Paolo, throw the stone. I'll move back slightly. Yeah, there you go. All right, so what happened just then was, as Paolo threw the stone, you moved the camera slightly. So do you just want to do the stone throw again? And because that was a really nice shot. You had him slightly there, yep. Perfect, that's a pretty nice shot, man. All right, so the last shot is going to be Paolo's late for his casting. So Bly just made a really good point. He said, what if I lock the exposure and focus on Paolo, but then Paolo goes out of the frame and then it's not going to be focused in the background? This is super important, because if you're going to do a shot like this when things are changing a lot and you know that there's going to be things in focus and out of focus, then it's actually good to keep it on auto. It's really good to just keep everything on auto and not lock on him, because then the phone it actually has really good autofocus, so it will just focus on the background after Paolo leaves. What I would recommend here, Bly, is you do like a forward moving shot. So rather than keeping it in the same place, hold the phone like this with one hand underneath and just kind of go forward like this with bent knees and try and just get a smooth forward motion whilst Paolo is doing his thing. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, go. This is the most random shot I've ever seen in my life, but we're trying to go and we're trying to work with the ideas that the filmmaker has, right?
Clocked out, 10 till 2. Beat the traffic on the way down. There's a Malibu, burning daylight on the 101. I've been jumping over fences, breaking my back just to get off the ground. Think I'm running out
stuff. I think we had some kind of improvement in there. It's going to be interesting to review these shots before and after. I think there's going to be some slight improvements. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate doing this scene, and I'm going to use the phone and I'm going to film how I would film it to give you some tips about how I would do it as well, and see if we can get a kind of a before and after applying some specific techniques and mindsets. So let's go back to the beginning. We're going to get these 5-6 shots again. First thing I kind of noticed with Bly's video is that it was pretty random. It was pretty, I think that was Paolo's energy coming through there. It had some Tai Chi, he was then late for a casting. It was kind of half like he was looking at the camera sometimes, so it's kind of this like weird blend of random stuff, right? So what I'm gonna try and do is go with what they were doing, but try and make it a bit more coherent story. So for example, Paolo, you could be, maybe you're stressed about something, right? You're stressed, so you come to the beach, that's why. So the first couple of shots we can get of you, you're kind of, maybe you're walking around, you're feeling kind of stressed and anxious. Then you decide to do some Tai Chi Chuan, and that's gonna help kind of relax you. And at the end, you're gonna be super relaxed. And just as you're relaxed, maybe your phone's gonna ring and you're gonna realize you're late for a casting, and then you run. So that can be kind of like a funny thing that makes a bit more sense, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is get the shot, the kind of intro shot of Paolo being a bit stressed. So if you want to start here, Paolo, and you're going to be walking this way, and you're going to kind of just be walking and just kind of with like a stress kind of energy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the same distance from Paolo the whole time. So if you stay here, Paolo, stay here, that's good. I'm going to lock the exposure and focus on Paolo there. And I'm going to try and keep this still as we go. Okay, and go. Awesome. From there, I'm gonna get a close-up of Paolo so I can cut in between those two shots. So go back slightly and stay there, that's awesome. And I'm gonna get nice and close here and go again. Same thing. And just to vary this up slightly, I'm gonna get one more where there's gonna be the sun kind of peeking in and out behind Paolo's hair. And it's gonna look really cool. Okay, awesome, and go. Awesome. Okay, now we had that Paolo kind of naturally stopped, and he kind of was, maybe he was thinking in his head like, yeah, I'm stressed, I need to do something to chill me out. So we're gonna have this moment, you're gonna kind of stop, and you're gonna realize like, oh yeah, I'm kind of stressed, like I need to do some Tai Chi Chuan. I'm here, yeah, you realize I'm here, we got the beach, everything's fine. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna actually copy Bly's movement, where he was going around like this, because I think that was actually a really nice idea. And Paolo, you're gonna start from a couple of feet back, and you're gonna stop in that point where you were. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, go. Awesome. So I'm gonna get another shot now where, if you wanna stay there, Paolo, just stay in this point. We're gonna go from there. I'm just gonna get another shot of Paolo's face because it's important to show the emotion on his face here, because he's actually, this is the point where he's realizing like, okay, I'm stressed, I need to chill out, I need to do something, okay? And then from there, you can start doing your Tai Chi Chuan. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, go. Now he's doing the Tai Chi Chuan, I'm gonna come further back and I'm gonna kind of do like a more sweeping movement. Ideally, I would have a gimbal here, but for this, obviously I don't. We're going as minimalist as possible. All right, go ahead. You can also see what I'm doing here is keeping him on the rule of thirds rather than in the center of the frame. I'm gonna get another one here. Paolo, you can just keep on doing your thing now. I'm gonna get just a couple of different shots. Go ahead, go ahead. So I'm kind of getting his silhouette here with the sun. It's really important to get these elements that make the viewers feel like they are here. Another thing I might do is get a shot of Paolo's feet on the sand. It's really important to include these elements like of this sensory experience. So the experience that makes it feel like connects the the viewer's senses with the senses in the scene. So one of the things is like the sense of touch. How can we convey the sense of touch in this video? What we're gonna do is film Paolo's feet on the ground as they're moving, and it's gonna be a kind of nice, like, visceral element that we can include. So again, focusing up on his feet here, and go. Okay, so now he's done that, we're gonna get one more shot now of his face. Now he's realized like he is more relaxed. So now he's done his moonwalking. He's gonna realize like, now I do feel better. And just as he realizes that, he's gonna realize he has a casting, and you're gonna pick up your phone and be like, oh shit, and then run. Okay. So you now do one, Paolo. So go from the Tai Chi that you were doing, and just do that for like 2 seconds, and then be like, and then you kind of center yourself, all right?
Vale, te había olvidado, perdón.
All right. Pretty random ending to the video, but I think what we got there is a kind of demonstration on how we can use shots in a way that, number one, is more intentional.
Yeah.
Number two, we're thinking about the movements. We're thinking about more or less the story. I mean, it's a random as fuck story. And then we're also thinking about how the viewers are going to perceive this. So how the viewers are actually going to feel when they're watching our video. Because that's really, it sounds like an advanced thing. Like maybe you should be teaching a beginner, like, oh, you need to be teaching them about the frame rates or the focus or whatever. But really, especially with an iPhone, like, there's not very much technical barriers. You don't need to go learn exactly how an iPhone camera works and all the settings and everything. It really is kind of point and shoot. And so with this new technology, we can kind of get more or less like straight into the story, straight into the storytelling, and straight into what actually makes the viewers feel when they're watching our videos. Because at the end of the day, that is why we're making videos, to make the audience feel something when they are watching them. So hopefully in the stuff that you've seen today, we've got this kind of progression between what you were doing at first when you were just filming everything randomly. Then it was really awesome to see that Bly started naturally putting some more intention into his shots. And then seeing what I did and including some slightly more advanced stuff, playing with the sun, playing with the sensorial elements, and then having a bit more of a cohesive story in that video.
I'm making sure they know me now, and I pray they never forget me. Ain't made it because they let me made a lane, and I played the game. I couldn't stay the same, I had to change up, get my change up before I lost my brain. Belly I limp, and I'm killing, I'm amped, and I slam it
Oh, vale, te había olvidado, perdón.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you are interested in a 30-minute or 30 to 40-minute free training webinar, then click the link below. You're going to learn a ton about filmmaking in this kind of style, where we're talking about everything from the basics to the more advanced stuff that's going to help you learn how to capture your life in a beautiful way, preserve those memories so your brain doesn't forget them, because your camera will always capture those moments to have forever. You're also going to be learning a few editing tips in that training, and you're going to be learning exactly the process that I use to get better at filmmaking very quickly, and that my students use in the Life Capture Academy. If you're interested in that, towards the end of the training, I do talk about that and give you an exclusive offer for that program. Also, if you're interested, I have an entire list of the gear that I use down in the description below. If you go and download that, I'll send it straight to your email, and there I will also be sending tips and tricks that you can use to basically progress from beginner to more intermediate to more. Guys, I told you about this already. I'm the filmmaker. I'm the filmmaker!